Okay, so today I'm gonna get at you about SURENOS, right? And Southsiders that migrated, basically immigrated from Mexico into Southern California and then migrated up north, right? And the consequences behind them not even knowing exactly what the fuck was going on between the North and South at the time. This is in the late 80s to the early 90s. Um, I'm not going to talk about Vickystown because Vickystown kind of predates before North and South, possibly before South, but I know for sure it predates before there was Norteno, so we use the term Norteno. So I'm not going to talk about Vickystown, but I'm going to tell you about Barrios Town, which is a hood that basically after Vickystown had decided to go the other way, some of the original members have relocated to other areas. One of those areas is known as Rock Springs, which is the Happy Hollow area, Happy Hollow Apartments, right? That's VST, right? Now, VST, I'm gonna say that I say it started up around between, I'm gonna say 86, 87, when it was actually like, a known hood. Another hood was Spokaway, that started up in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. After that, you had all kinds of hoods popping up, On Willow Street on the west side, we had Barrio Willow Locos, which was a Paisa gang. Most of these gangs were all the Paisa gangs. There was Chicanos here and there, like you had old school Chicanos like Angel Serrano from 18th Street, that was out here. Peter Sanchez was Chicano. Luis Armas Weddle was Chicano. I remember Luis Armas back in like maybe 87, 86. He used to wear on this big ass trench coat that had a big old 1-3 on it. When that buddy came from LA to San Jose, I used to see him in front of the Rancho Hotel on Barker in Monterey. Now it's called the Palm Tree Inn. Back then it was the Rancho Hotel. Anyhow, so they were around for a long time, but they didn't become a real body until later on down the line. We dealt with mostly all the Southsiders from Mexico at first. Like I said, we had a couple of stragglers here and there that came up here, but you had Gilbert Gutierrez, Snoopy. There was Surenos that there wasn't a lot back then that they had names like Mr. Sureno and Mr. Southside and shit like that, right? So it was a little bit different, right? Weddle, and then they ended up moving down towards 2nd Street and Breed, and we're known for like 2nd Street posse type of shit, right? And obviously influenced people down on William Street, because William Street was originally, I think it was Barrio Sus Sombras, and then it became Barrio William Street, which branched out more towards east, and then you had Barrio William Street, 24th Street, and then going towards McLaughlin, Angini and all that, you had the Peligroso Locos and whatnot, right? Gramercy was around for a long time already too, though. Gramercy started sometime in the early 90s, I'm gonna say 91, 92. So it's one of the older gangs too, outside of Buckaway. Tammy Lee, I'm pretty sure that should start like in 92, 93. Because before that, I think it was just a Duber Lane, it was a Duber Lane, right next to Fair School. They used to be if you go in Fair, I went to Fair, so in back of Fair, there's the schoolyard, and on the side of that, there's a street where all the Chilenos used to be at back in the 80s, like 88, 89, and you could, and people, we would get off with them over there, Now, the reason why, first of all, number one, the reason why I feel like I should be able to speak on the Southsiders Council, but just talk about these people, I say it because I fought with these cats on a daily basis, 2-3 times a day, SSP, Clanton, those didn't come into effect until 1992, 93. Now, Westside Mob and Barrio Horseshoe at the time were in a real crazy war. It was nuts, and we were fighting so much that we didn't pay attention to what the fuck was going on in that neutral area until it was too late. By that time, in 92, 93, if you went down Willow Street and got caught on Vine and Almaden at the light, you're done. They're either gonna stab you, everybody in the car's getting fucked up, your whole car's getting fucked up. That was SSP. You go down even further down to the bridge or the freeway on Almaden before you hit the House of Pizza. Under the underpass, there was a big old Clanton under there, and there would be a gang of heads down there. I think it was 92, I'm pretty sure it was 92 that the fools from Clanton had got busted, or I'm not even sure if it was Clanton or who it was, but Southsiders that killed a friend of mine named Ana Garcia from the east side, rest in peace. And So Southsiders, they've been here for a long time now. I've heard a couple of these podcasts and other people saying that there was no Sureños here, no one to fight with in the 90s. That's because they didn't live where I lived, or they weren't really in the street like that. They may have got busted, went to prison, got involved in prison politics, and then just, there's a lot of people that are independent. If you're an independent gang member, you don't really know about the barrios then. You know what I'm saying? Because you kind of sit away from all that. That's the reason why you're not in one. So Southsiders have been here for a long time, though. Because, in my neighborhood where I grew up at, we had, to the east of us, we had Barrio Town. South of us, we had Barrios Sureños Locos. West of us, we had Nortenos, which was Horseshoe, but they were a rival hood. North of us, we had SSP, Clanton, and William Street. So all day we went to war with these cats, and this is from the late 80s to the early 90s. Because before SSP and Clanton were there, we had Barrio Willow Locos, we had VST, and we had VSL, and we had Horseshoe. So either way, we still had all these fools around us. Back then you had Barrio 12th Street. 12th Street Savages, they used to be from 12th Street to 10th Street over there on Reed, back and forth, all through right there. But that barrio ended up dying out as time went by, and Southsiders took over that little area. And I think they claimed 12th Street too, but Southside 12th Street. And anyhow, that's a new hood, because I go back and I think about it, and if you look at it, most of these hoods started from, let's just say, the first one maybe 86 to about 2002, which was the last one, which is this 12th Street neighborhood. Since then, ain't no other Sureño neighborhood has started up. Since then, there's been around, I don't know, maybe 30 Norteno hoods that started up in San. Even in some of those little Sureño pockets that they went there before. You know what I'm saying? So I hear a lot of people speaking on these dudes and whatnot, right? Now, I'm gonna be truthful, like 100, because I went, like I said, beef with these cats. Juvenile halls, everything. These motherfuckers would take an ass whooping or give an ass whooping, but a lot of these dudes were really down. You gotta imagine these fools have to fight with everybody in juvenile hall on the daily. You know what I'm saying? And then still spit their shit, you feel me? And it's just the way it was. For fools from down south to not respect these fools from up north and everything they go through and how much they represent the front line and all the shit they go through, it wouldn't be right, These dudes have laid down the foundation as far as, these dudes from down south, they can come up here and chill whenever they feel like it, go right into one of those neighborhoods and be safe and be all good. We can't do that. You feel me? And that's something that we would want to, but we can't do that, Like I said, man, the Southsiders in San Jose have had a foundation there for a long time. When we went to war with them in the 90s, it was no joke. It wasn't about, and the 90s was way different. Like I said, in the early 90s, dealt with the Paisas. When the ones from LA and San Diego and Inland Empire and Orange County and Riverside and San Bernardino County, when all of them started coming over here, it was a different type of gangbanging. It wasn't the same gangbanging no more. These dudes were doing shit that we didn't see before. You know what I'm saying? We ain't really tripped on shit. We were fighting with VSJ, with Bamas, with Horseshoe, with BMLs, with SOS, with Crips, with everybody else. And we're fighting with other Sureños, but we never had to deal with the shit that SSP and Clanton were throwing at us. But we fought with so many people for so long that it was easy for us to adapt with whoever was going to be the enemy, And as time went by, we started going to war with them cats hella tough, SSP, I gotta give those dudes mad credit because SSP came out of nowhere and they got savages out that neighborhood. You have old school cats like Simeo and Chili Willie. Shit, we used to trip out. Alexandra, her little brother, I believe his name was Shady from SSP. Alexandra, she was from VSJ. She used to bring SSP to come and rush us in her car, right? And then she would come back an hour later and rush us with VSJ. It was just nuts, right? Everything was crazy, right? But anyhow, on the east side, you got Comar, right? I think Comar started up somewhere right before the end of the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, right? Either end of the 90s, early 2000s. Comar started up. I'm pretty sure it's the end of the 90s that Comar had really, started making its fucking name for itself, right? And then, like I said, Buckaway was there since about 88, 89. Then you had Tanley, Barrios, Sureño, Malitos, which is also on McLaughlin. Now McLaughlin Street is a real known southern area. I mean, there's homeboys like the Chicano, I think it's Chicano Pride Gangsters. You got those homies over there. You might have some old school homies from M Street from back in the days that stay over there still. But the majority of people that are there is southern gangs or Sureños that live in that area or at least frequent the area. You know, they're the ones who move around. That's their little area where traffic lights through. It's mostly them. And they got another pocket on the east side, which is by the PAL station, which is the police athletic league or something like that, right? PAL, and it's on Virginia, and right there there's a bunch of Sureños right there too. And then you got SPV, which has been around for a pretty long time too, though. SPV, which is Super Vida. I was with Porky from SPV. He was actually, I'm thinking he was running the yard in Solano where I was at. And the Southsiders from down south didn't even like it. And I think it was a vato named Crazy from Verdugo from Calle Siete. Took off on that fool on the yard. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't having it. He felt like the Southsiders, from LA, got more say-so, And they just had their own problems, from the up north and south ones. And that's the first time I seen some shit like that, But the ones from Song, although they represent hella hard inside there. You feel me? And they get a lot of credit and hold a lot of weight inside there. I tripped out, especially the cats from SSP, Like I said, VST been around for a long time. They used to be at Happy Hollow area, right? And then from Happy Hollow, what happened in 93, 94, there was an abatement injunction done on them. And I think like 40 something members had to get out of that neighborhood. So a lot of those fools went west. So some of them went towards Manker off of the 280 on the other side of San Carlos, of the freeway, and moved in that little area. Then some went even more further west towards Boynton and Blackford. And then some of them went towards Cadillac and Williamsburg and all that shit over there, and Apollo Drive and Winchester and whatnot, right? So they all went to those three areas, right? Anyhow, so VST, they moved in those areas, right? VSL, on the other hand, they ended up dying out, after a while, right? That shit died out. William Street is not as big or strong like it was back in the days. That shit dying out too. 24th Street, VML's dying out. There's a couple of VPLs on its last legs. The ones that are left over, they're just trying to go from here to there to try to keep their shit alive so someone takes it, But Clanton ended up moving out of the area where it initially started at in San Jose and moved to the east side where there used to be a Norteno neighborhood called Barrio Montalban. I believe those fools are in there now, Clanton, right? And then, like I said, right next to them is Tammy Lee. Then you got Barrio Sureño Malditos, right? And then if you go more east, like I said, you got Comar, you got Bokaway, you got Gramercy over down by the Allen Rock by the cemetery, which ain't really, they ain't factors no more either. That's just really dying out too. But you have homeboys moving in all those areas though. Where these people are dying out, there's homeboy hood starting up, But Sureños did exist in the 90s, let's not get it twisted, you feel me? And I'm not talking about one or two gangs. I mean, there was literally like 15 hoods. I mean, before SSP and Clanton came out, you didn't catch these fools downtown. You didn't see these fools at the clubs. You didn't see these fools at the malls, at the fair, in lowriders, on the weekends cruising. Man, SSP and Clanton, those motherfuckers had balls. Those motherfuckers was out there doing that shit. I mean, like I said, you cross a crack and it's our hoods, you feel me? It's rivals, Like us, Clanton, SSP, and Horseshoe, there was an injunction and abatement done on us, but we went to war crazy, all of us, all four of us were just going back and forth, everybody. No one got along with nobody. I mean, SSP and Clanton got along, but we didn't get along with Horseshoe. Then they had VST on the other side of them, who also was involved too, so it was just all of us. It was VST, SSP, Clanton, except VST, they weren't a part of the injunction, but they were a part of all the shit that when we was beefing though, in 1999, Clanton took a shot at trying to take over Horseshoe, And we had to intervene. Some of the OGs from Barrio Libre, which is the original neighborhood of my barrio, we Libre boys. Back then, anyhow, this OG got at us and said that he wanted us to go into Horseshoe and intervene with Clanton trying to move in there and make sure that don't happen. A lot of us were against it. The homies didn't like it, but we did what we had to do. It was for down the line. We didn't need SSP and Clanton. They took over another big piece of area. We didn't want that. That was something that was avoidable, and it was avoided. Again, in 2012, I believe SSP, for the second time, tried to take over Horseshoe again, and were unsuccessful based on a federal indictment that was done on them, and I believe it was 30-something, 37, 36 members got indicted. So they were able to finesse their way out of that, you feel me? What it calls, so as far as like the history for Surenos and Southsiders, they've had a very strong, brief history, but they've had a strong history overall. They weren't strong for a long time. It was very brief, but they definitely planted seeds, and they definitely have territory in San Jose, and they always have. And every once in a while, they'll cause a little havoc and run around and do a couple shootings and whatnot, and make the news or whatnot, right? And just let the homies know that they're still here. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, I went to war with these cats on a daily basis. I won't talk about exactly anything that went down, but I can tell you that several times there was incidents, that occurred. We went to war with Parkway, we went to war with VTG, we went to war with SSP, Clanton, VST, VSL, we went to war with William Street, we went to war with, we went to war with all the Surenos gangs. We used to go rush Gramercy all the time. We used to rush Comar in the early 2000s. We was always rushing Comar. It's just something we did because the west side would get so hot, so we go to the east side and rush those fools. But everybody already knows, all the Southsiders, they know how we get down. They know that, we on that gangbanging shit. Back in the 90s, everything was gangbanging. And there's no tight pants, no slim jeans and skinny jeans. There was none of that shit. Motherfuckers were decked the fuck out. You feel me? When you seen the Sureno, you knew it was a Sureno because these motherfuckers, and I'm not talking about 1991, 1992, when we were beating up biceps for no reason. You feel me? I'm talking about 1994. When these motherfuckers out here lowriders, wearing blue Pendletons, blue baños on their heads with their radios on the baños, on the hats. These motherfuckers were khakid out, Ben Davis out. Cortez, hush puppies. You feel me? Godfathers. You feel me? These motherfuckers was moving around, and they weren't no punks or pussies. You feel me? And that's how the shit was. So people that say that there was no Southsiders here, again, let me say, it's bullshit. These motherfuckers have been here, and they've been a problem. You feel me? I went to jail in 1994 because of some cats from Clanton. They were walking in my neighborhood, and they had the Clanton in the back of their shirts. Now with the cops, they threw their shirts away, or got rid of their shirts by the time the cops came and made it look like they used to bang him. Either way, he still said on my paperwork that, he's from Eastside Clanton. He used to be from Eastside Clanton. And he identified us. You feel me? Either way though, it was on all the time to see them over there. There was no, that no one got chances, man. If we caught you, we caught you. Those motherfuckers got the business, I went back to prison again, a different number, but I got situations with these cats. I fought one-on-ones with these cats. We went to war on the streets with these cats. I was a problem for these cats, a lot of them. I give them a lot of credit, and the real motherfuckers got to know, the real shit, real, recognize real. It's real simple. You feel me? So if anybody wants anything more than that, as far as wanting to know the timeline, there's a map that I'm gonna be pushing out, so you'll see the timeline of all these. Then you can really start from where they were at, and then also of all the Norteno gangs that they're surrounded or around. Like I said before, you'll see the difference. You feel me? Everything's changed in San Juan.